Hey there, I'm Jason, and welcome to this evening walking tour of Santa Barbara. As you can tell from the sign, we are starting off at the historic Presidio of Santa Barbara. Founded in 1782 when California was still part of the Spanish Empire. To facilitate the modern road grid, Santa Barbara Street here cuts right through the old walls. The museum installed the glass here so you can see the structure of the adobe bricks. It's mostly adobe blocks, with some bits of brick in the mortar. For reinforcement, I wonder? I didn't know that Captain George Vancouver had visited Santa Barbara during his explorations of Alaska and the Pacific Northwest. But in looking it up, apparently he visited Alta California on a few occasions. And here's the reconstructed chapel, in a pic I took earlier in the day, when it was open. The governor and Spanish residents of town would have worshipped here at the Presidio, while the Santa Barbara Mission, a mile or so away, was used mostly by the converted native Chumash population. There, across the street, is my favorite coffee spot in Santa Barbara, Handlebar Coffee. Here's a historical marker. Only the northern and parts of the east and west sides of the quadrangle survive. Those sections being restored continues to the present. This side, known as El Cuartel, was a barracks for troops. After its later becoming part of Mexico, the fort was bloodlessly surrendered to John Fremont in December of 1846 during the Mexican-American War.
Hey guys.
Across the street there is another small piece of the building. You can see that it's rather gray and overcast, not the typical afternoon Santa Barbara sunshine. And that's not the usual cool coastal marine layer, but a strange remnant of a tropical system that moved in. So it was actually pretty warm and muggy, and even rained a good amount the next day, which is very unusual, especially in September when I filmed this. Now we'll walk down Cañón Perdido, Lost Cannon Street, to State Street. To the left is the 1930s main post office in town.
Look at them, they're like raised beds with adobe bricks.
And I didn't stop, but the marker ahead denotes the location of Santa Barbara's historic Japantown.
Like Chumash symbol?
No, it's just a stylized Postal Service eagle.
Look, Santa Barbara Film Festival. Surf Film Festival, though. That's something different, I guess. This is a theater. Oh, they're having some. That's what everybody's going to.
In the early 2000s, my wife and I attended a film lecture in town with Peter Jackson on the Lord of the Rings films at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Oh, and this is our walk to dinner on the pier, so you'll also hear my wife talking in the video.
There's so many trees that drop sticky stuff, though.
Agree.
Down by the train station, there's one of those famous Moreton Bay fig trees. Those Australian fig trees that were planted in the 1700s. That's super huge, but yeah, the ground all around it's completely caked with gooey stuff. It's impressive, though.
And now we'll turn on to State Street, the main drag through downtown. This is in the middle of the now pedestrianized section.
Maybe we'll just go up to the art museum.
Yes, first we'll walk north to the art museum and then turn around, and then walk all the way to and onto the Stearns Wharf Pier.
State-of-the-art renovation.
I think this is maybe where we attended the film lecture.
I remember it on this side of the street, but I could easily remember things wrong. Here's the Apple Store.
The city's dictates on signage and architecture don't allow for Apple's usual store design. Yeah, Jaden. And then we're discussing things to our left, out of frame.
Well, there's a Brandy
Trucks in
Melville.
New York.
Oh.
Same logo and everything.
Oh yeah, like the trucks, the Frosty trucks. That's funny.
Getting slightly ahead of myself, but it's actually a franchise of Mr. Softy from Philly. We'll get a better look walking back down the street in about 13 minutes. I also filmed a couple bike ride POV videos to and around Santa Barbara. That'll be on my other channel, Jay Harris, PDX Rides.
So I was coming home from the first ride, I drafted some guy on his e-bike like that. Like, hey, you're not going to do any work. I'm not going to do any work either, or a lot less work. Amazon? That's sort of funny. I don't know. It's not open anymore. I wonder if it was an Amazon Fresh.
Maybe.
My wife and I have been coming here since we were kids, and up ahead is where an early, exotic espresso shop was in the early 90s.
This is where it was then, huh? I remember the railing.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the 90s, one of the first coffee places that was around was here, C's Coffee. Very cool. I don't even know what it is now. It doesn't say. Oh, it was
Nothing.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it went out of business.
It was one of these.
It was a corner one because I do remember the patio, like outside,
Right.
having that railing, and that's the only one with a railing.
And then, do you remember the record store?
Mm-hmm.
Morning Glory.
Yep. I believe I bought a This Mortal Coil album there. Remember when you didn't know releases for records? You would go into a record store and you'd be like, oh my god, there's a new record from
Yeah.
so-and-so, and you just discover it.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the Indian tandoori place?
So, yeah. One that has 4.9 rating.
Mm. Okay, where's the art museum?
I think it was where the Marshalls was.
No, I saw it earlier.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just this block. Figueroa. You know, I rode past it and I filmed the front of it on my bike ride this morning. And I went up this way on my bike. Because up here is where,
Oh, here's Anderson.
yes.
You know, I've been there.
Mm-hmm. They have good breakfast.
Yes, Anderson's is an excellent breakfast spot. It's Danish, just like the nearby village of Solvang. Check out my walking tour video of Solvang, linked above.
It's a cool fire pit on the table.
The kids seem to like it.
Mm-hmm. Lewis and Clark.
I know, right? Guy washing the window.
I'm not going down there. Joe. Okay. Architectural tag for these arcades. Here we go.
Oh, this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. They have an exhibit out here.
Oh, sorry. Sea trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Boards. What, like boardwalk type sidewalk?
And then here in the corner with Anapamu Street is the Santa Barbara Art Museum. I've never been inside, but maybe I'll check it out in the future.
just went down there.
Yeah, I thought there were stairs back down to State Street. The pedestrian and bike zone extends one more block north to Victoria Street. But this is where we'll turn back south towards the waterfront.
If you want to go in anywhere, just tell me. Yeah, big in front of that belt. Oh, that's cool. It is a shopping center too. Anthropology. Yes. Actually, a big Halloween store. Yeah, it does, right, because it's even written up above.
This was in September, so the Halloween store and the former CVS might have just been seasonal.
Oh, it's huge, actually. See how far back it went? Yeah, it's not even counting down yet. Should count down at the end, 12, yeah.
You can see that fast e-bikes are quite popular. Always look around and try to stay out of the center bikeway.
Oh, the British pub?
Yeah, how's that?
I think Oh My Soul was there before. I think it's like OG.
I think so. What is this? Oh, coffee. Turkish delight
Turkish.
baklava.
It's cool. It looks cool inside too. So Turkish coffee is gritty. It's very good, but it's got the coffee grounds still in the coffee.
The grounds actually settle in your cup. I probably just drank it wrong if I stirred up the grounds.
Mm-hmm. Next to another patisserie.
Gluten-free bakery.
Huh.
Dedicated.
I love the sound of water from street fountains like this. Then ahead is the Mr. Softy we were debating earlier if it's the same as on the East Coast.
Want to walk down the middle?
Is it the same?
This is exactly the same. That's strange.
I wonder if they just licensed it.
Must be.
I was thinking something different. I was thinking Frosty.
Exactly.
They must sell olive oil.
Another place.
We can detour through the Paseo again.
Each block also has a mid-block crossing from when it was still an open street.
Now I feel a little warm.
Right? Actually, it feels comfortable now. I'm still sticky.
Mile already.
And we're back at Cañón Perdido. Now we'll continue ahead to the beach.
Very artsy.
We'll turn right, though, for a detour through the Paseo Nuevo shopping center. It's basically just a mall, but the climate allows it to be outdoors, like a plaza. There are a number of local shops and places to eat, so it's worth a look. You can also find a couple parking garages here that give a few free hours. Not sure if you need validation, though.
We were where the 805 boba was.
Yep, the next left.
Times are a little tough for malls, no matter how fancy.
Yes, there are still a number of empty spots in the post-pandemic era. It's actually quite pretty at night, with the landscaping and the Moorish-style lanterns. And also cornhole, apparently. And back to State Street just a block later.
Even make a 7-Eleven look fancy.
Yeah. There's also the Walmart, the water.
The cha-cha class right in the street. Cool. I wouldn't do it, but
Apart from dance classes in the street, the Santa Barbara Farmers Market is here too, which also temporarily turns the bikeway into a walk zone. The e-bike share system by the city is powered by B-Cycle.
remember my bike video when the guy on the skateboard getting pulled by the bike moped was here?
Yeah.
That is in reference to an earlier Santa Barbara to Ventura ride I filmed. Link in the description.
Oh, there it is, Old Kings Road.
Oh, you want to go look?
Lower State Street, or Old Town here, has many more bars and restaurants, including
Like pub food or no?
No, they don't have any food.
Old Kings Road there, where part-time local Martin Gore, Depeche Mode, sometimes does a DJ set.
I saw there was an article.
There's lots more activity in this part of State Street.
James Joyce.
No, yeah, no. Well, there's always an Irish pub, right?
There's them that ways.
Huh.
Two Irish pubs.
Yeah. Oh, this is what they call Old Town. That's cool.
Here at Haley Street, we've reached the south end of the pedestrian zone, so we'll need to move to the sidewalk.
The closest place is the Smart and Final, the closest.
Yeah. On the way home.
We were discussing where to get some bottled water on our way back to the hotel.
Axe throwing club. That's kind of Portland.
Oh yeah.
Free firewood. So funny.
Everybody in here doing their homework.
We're far from Isla Vista.
I think they might have actually been the kids of the owners, not UCSB students. A cigar lounge with a wooden Indian chief still? Huh.
Yeah. Says
Dueling piano bar. It's crazy. That's a very niche kind of.
Thursday or Saturday. Or today's only Wednesday.
The adult store.
I went there earlier and I bought something.
Oh. That's supposed to be the REI. I don't know if it's open anymore.
Yeah, I went to the paper store. Very cute. I bought a cube.
Oh. It's cute. Yeah. I hope there's not a wait because I'm starting to feel shaky now.
There's probably something. I mean, look at all the
Yeah.
places that are. Even when I went there earlier, there was no.
Yeah, I rode on the pier earlier and there
Yeah,
were
there's
so
so
many
funny ones.
yes, there were so many spaces. Yeah.
I know. I even found our spot. So we'll be
Oh. Yeah, I looked at it too. It's funny.
Signed up for a rewards card. The lady said if I spend $500 on
What?
paper, that I get a $40 gift card. I don't think I'll ever spend $500 on paper. 1991.
Yep, 1991. Before that, there were stoplights on the freeway.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I remember in the 1980s, traffic would gridlock as Highway 101 directly crossed the streets.
This overpass is wider because it's the freeway and a frontage road. I rode over it earlier.
There's a place up here called Moxie.
Oh.
Well, that's the Moxie Hotel, M-O-X-Y.
Oh yeah, that's the chain. They're everywhere, right? I stayed in Edinburgh. Huh. Well, obviously it's not the same place, but that is funny.
What we're discussing is that just there was the Moxie Hotel, and just ahead is the Moxie Museum with an XI.
The Reagan Ranch Center.
Yeah, I saw this on Google Maps.
What is that?
I don't know, I guess it's like a visitor center or welcome center for it if you want to drive all the way up to it on Camino Cielo by Refugio.
Can I peek in?
Yeah. I'll take a look at the front of it too. Rare Society.
So, it turns out the actual Reagan Ranch is still in private hands and not generally open to visitors. So, this center was created to let people experience its story and some items from it.
Can you visit it?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's open to the public. It's just, closed now.
No. His actual ranch.
I believe so, yes.
It says up there, Reagan Ranch.
Yeah.
Because his library's in Sini.
Yes. Which also has. I would actually like to do that sometime.
Yeah. It's
So,
been a long time since I've been there.
because they have the Air Force One now. Oh, here, let's just walk quickly through
And
it.
they have a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Oh, that's right.
This is where you took it?
Yep. In the train station.
How long did it take?
16 minutes.
Oh, wow.
took a train.
Faster than traffic.
Yeah, took a train here earlier to Carpinteria to do a bike ride back to Santa Barbara, which will be posted on my other channel, PDX Rides. Oh,
May I have your attention, please? This will be the first call for southbound Amtrak train number 11, the Coast Starlight. Train number 11 will arrive shortly and will be boarding for Los Angeles, stopping at Oxnard, Simi Valley, Glendale, and Los Angeles Union Station with connections to San Diego. This is the first call for southbound Amtrak train number 11, the Coast Starlight. Please remain on the station side of the tracks until the train is ready for boarding, and allow the training guests to step off the train. Only traveling guests are permitted to board the train. Have a pleasant trip, and thank you for choosing Amtrak.
This train station, with its cozy Mission Revival styling, is very distinctive. It also features in a somewhat notable video game franchise. If you know, you know. Watch out for rattlers in the area.
If you ticket to board this train, you'll be boarding the last two cars of the train. When facing the tracks to the right, last two cars, see the sign is moving down at the door.
yeah, it's cool to see the Coast Starlight. I've only seen the Pacific Surfliner. Welcome from Portland.
That's cool. We caught a train just arriving, and it's the only once-a-day Coast Starlight that originates in Seattle with stops in Portland, Sacramento, and Oakland on its way to LA. I'd like to take it from where I live in Portland someday. I had taken the Pacific Surfliner earlier in the day. And back by the classic Southern Pacific passenger car is the massive Moreton Bay fig.
That's the fig tree over there.
We went all the way over there?
No. We're going back. We can go back now. The train will be here for probably 10 or 15 minutes. It's a get out and stretch break. Yeah, people coming all the way from Seattle, Portland.
Actually, it had only stopped for 5 to 10 minutes, as we catch it leaving shortly.
Your good luck.
Yeah, my wife always incurs interesting things happening.
I have a rocket machine.
I think you can sit over there.
And I lowered the sound levels, but here's a warning for loud bells and train horn sounds in a few seconds. goes. Next stop, Oxnard.
To your right. Oh, it's a museum.
Yep, here's the other Moxie.
Oh, but not with an E. It's the Wolf Museum of Exploration and Innovation. Huh. Oh, look at that. How cute. They have a children's-sized door.
Oh.
That's cool. I wonder if it's like a children's museum then. It's just kind of like a children's science museum. Still says hotel.
Now that we're south of the track, it's only a couple blocks to the beach.
Huh. McConnell's wants to cover the bases. They have a lower State Street shop as well as an upper State Street shop.
McConnell's is a beloved local brand of ice cream.
Earlier the fountain was off.
Here on the right, this marker apparently commemorates the 1918 test flight of the F-1 flying boat by the Lockheed brothers, forerunners to Lockheed aircraft.
There was something in Carpinteria. I didn't stop to look at it, but it also said history of flight in California or something.
I went in the surf shop in Carpinteria because they had like track jackets, you know, like auto jackets.
Yeah.
And there was one that said Jason, and I was
Oh.
going to buy it. That's amazing. And
He saw your.
no, he said
Oh.
it's small. Your cat, and he was like, "What is that, a camera?" Small. Anyway, and it was a used jacket. It was just
Yeah. Vintage.
yes,
I mean.
$350.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. No, it's okay.
I thought I'll pay $125.
Yeah.
but
I,
not
I could find a
$350.
replica and even hand do felt lettering on it and do it myself.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like that one that my auto jacket that Audrey wears,
Mm-hmm.
looks like that.
Bike rentals.
You like
I think this is called Mission Creek.
It wasn't very long.
There's a lot of water on it.
Yeah. I started my garment at the end of the pier.
That's cute. Cool. Maybe I'll make the wharf its own video.
Yeah, maybe. You might as well for context.
Already long.
It's just 10 more minutes, so let's just keep going. There's the iconic dolphin fountain. I bet it's not on.
I remember
Really?
1980?
Huh. I don't remember a popcorn cart man, but
Maybe I'm
If that gentleman passed in 1980, though, we both would have been only small children before then.
I'll let you go first.
yeah, neither bare feet nor high heels would be very smart on this wood.
It feels odd just walking or riding your bike on the planks of the pier. But in a car, you can feel the planks actually shifting and flexing. It's low-key terrifying.
Undisturbed is Mr. Siegel.
I don't feel like I can touch them.
Pretty undisturbed.
I saw pelicans today.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've seen them a couple times. They're so
There's a
common.
bunch of them over there.
Wait, flying or?
Yeah,
Oh,
flying.
got it. Yeah, they fly in groups, like in a line, right?
Yeah. It was cute. A guy was showing his dog them. People got down on his knee to show the dog. He's like pointing at them.
That's interesting.
I don't think I've ever walked on this thing at night.
Oh, really? Huh.
It'll be night.
Yeah. It is really quiet. It's
Oh,
nice.
I know, right? And it's not.
Uh-huh.
I feel a nice thing right now.
But it's also not cold. Like we've come
No,
here on
it's
like a
not.
cold, foggy night, and it's
I'm
bone
still
chilly.
sticky.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with that?
Odd tropical weather.
I'm just thinking there, David.
You know, even riding on this earlier, I was hearing like little metal popping noises and stuff. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh.
Like that? Maybe
Uh-huh.
on this side. Oh God. Look at that.
The Sea Center over there is on a separate offshoot pier.
Don't call it the aquarium anymore. It's now the Sea Center. Oh, may there be light.
I saw a fisherman at the end of the pier today.
Mm-hmm.
He caught a fish, and you know what it was?
A halibut?
Stingray.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was crazy. He let it go.
Well, yeah, I
Threw
think,
it back
yeah, I
in.
don't think there's any, I mean, maybe you could cut it up for bait, but I don't think there's otherwise any use for a stingray.
Well, it's funny because he threw it back in and it flopped like a belly flop.
Oh, that's funny.
So I hope it was okay.
I'm sure it probably was. Yeah.
I didn't record it because a bunch of people were already recording it, and I felt bad for the fish.
Oh. I remember one time we went with in all the shops.
Yes, I do too. Because Audrey loves a gift shop.
Hey, they found the lost cannon. I wonder if it actually is part of the same story.
There are quite a few monuments and markers to be found on this historic wharf.
There are many plaques. Mm-hmm, it's very calm.
Lots and lots.
Do you want to walk to the end with me, or you want to check in?
No, there's no.
Okay. Yeah, there isn't.
And at last, we can go no farther as we reach the end of the pier. Next stop is the Channel Islands.
The dog? Or the stingray?
The man with the stingray.
Uh.
Right here. This is where he threw it over.
You can just see Santa Cruz or Santa Rosa Island out there.
was er dazu sagt. Was da?
Wir müssen hier kurz ruhige Feier machen. Wir haben noch kein Bild. Ich würde sagen, wir machen noch kein Bild. Ja, das kannst du natürlich machen. Das wäre halt geil.
So watch out for my Santa Barbara City Bike Tour video for more of the pier and the rest of town. I don't know about you, but I've worked up an appetite with that walk. Seafood sounds good, and Santa Barbara Shellfish Company is one of my wife and I's favorite spots.
The end or one of these?
While we ate, we were treated to this spectacular sunset. And with that, thanks for joining us. See you in the next video.